What are the real values in life? The meaning of true wealth. Ioanna was a 12-year-old girl living in a beautiful town with her parents. She was always cheerful, full of energy, and smiling. Despite her many activities and schoolwork, most of her time was spent with her friends. However, there was something that troubled her that she couldn't share with anyone. Since she was little, Ioanna felt a pressure to always be the best, to have the most expensive clothes, the best toys, and to look perfect in front of others. At school, she would constantly hear kids talking about how cool their new phones were, how much money their parents spent on vacations, and how beautiful their houses were. Ioanna, although she had a warm family and wanted for nothing, felt like something was missing, like she wasn't good enough. One afternoon, while walking through the garden of her house, Ioanna heard her grandmother's voice from the balcony. Grandma Maria, a woman full of wisdom, always had something to say that made her think. At that moment, Ioanna went up to the balcony and sat next to her. "Grandma, why do others have so many things and I feel like I don't have anything good enough?" Ioanna asked with disappointment. Grandma smiled and looked at her with her sweet eyes. "True happiness, my dear, doesn't come from things or wealth. True wealth is in our hearts, in our relationships with others, and in how we feel about ourselves. Life isn't a collection of objects, but of moments we live and the people we have around us." Ioanna thought for a while about her grandmother's words. That evening, alone in her room, she began to reflect. Why was it so important to have the most expensive things? Wasn't a person's value found in their good deeds and the people who love them? The next day, Ioanna went to school with a different perspective. She had decided to stop comparing herself to others. She didn't need to be the best at everything. What mattered was being a good friend, helping others, and living with joy and gratitude for what she had. At one point in class, the teacher asked the students to write about what they thought real wealth was. Ioanna wrote, "True wealth isn't the expensive things you have. It's the love of the people around you, your health, and the ability to live a life filled with smiles and happiness. When you help others, when you show kindness, that's when you are truly wealthy. Because as my grandma says, real wealth is in our hearts." From that day on, Ioanna changed the way she saw life. She realized she didn't need to compete with others to be happy, nor did she need to chase material things to feel complete. Real happiness came from within her, from loving herself and loving others. Moral of the story: true wealth in life doesn't lie in material possessions, but in our relationships with those around us, and in gratitude for what we have. Happiness comes from living with love, respect, and kindness.